Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Doc Rico. I am Louis Marcasor, and today I will discuss the political and legal environment. So first, let us define political environment. So political environment refers to factors outside the company relating to the government or public affairs of a country, influencing companies. While legal environment, it comprises the laws, regulations, and legal systems that govern business activities in a country or region. So let us define what is the meaning of political legal environment. So political legal environment is a combination of political and legal factors that affect businesses operating in foreign markets. So these factors can include government policies, laws, regulations, and legal systems that govern business activities. So here are the examples of the political legal environment affecting global marketing. So number one, trade policies and regulations. So here, governments can impose trade policies and regulations that can have a significant impact on a company's marketing strategies. Number two is intellectual property laws. So here, it is essential to understand the legal framework of intellectual property in a foreign market to avoid infringement and protect intellectual property rights. So here are the examples of intellectual property. So number one is invention or their patent. And next is trademarks. Next is copyrights. And next is trade secrets. So the best country that implementing intellectual property laws is US, UK, Germany, and Japan. And the worst country is Venezuela, Pakistan, India, and Algeria. So kung ikaw ay papasok ng business and yung business is when it comes to intellectual property ay kailangan. So ito po yung mga country na mas maganda kang na pasukin. Okay, so ito po yung US, UK, Germany, and Japan. Dahil talagang mahigpit sila when it comes to intellectual property. Next is number three, consumer protection laws. So here, companies needs to comply with local regulations on product labeling, advertising, and marketing practices. So failure to comply can result in legal penalties and damage to the brand reputation. And number four, labor laws. Example is companies that use child labor or violate workers' rights may face negative publicity and consumer backlash. So rights regarding minimum wage, overtime pay, leave of absence. So the countries that have no guarantee of labor rights is Iraq, Libya, Syria, and Yemen. And number five is political instability. So it can arise due to civil unrest, conflicts, terrorism, or other events that create an uncertain business environment. So political instability. So if you are going to a business and yung isang country ay there is no political instability, so it is hard for the business. Okay, so the highest political instability is the Yemen, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Afghanistan. And the lowest political instability, so here is Finland, Norway, Switzerland, Denmark, and Iceland. Identifying political risk. Identifying political risk. So, it is an essential part of global marketing, as political events can significantly impact a company's operations, profitability, and brand reputation. So, here are some steps to identify political risk. So, number one is conduct a risk assessment. Conduct a risk assessment. So companies need to conduct a thorough risk assessment of the countries and regions they plan to operate in. This should include an analysis of political stability, regulatory environment, security risks, and other factors that could impact business operators. And number two is monitor political events. Monitor political events. So companies need to stay abreast of political events in the countries they operate in to identify potential risks. This includes monitoring political developments, regulatory changes, and social unrest. And lastly, develop contingency plans. Develop contingency plans. So companies need to develop contingency plans to mitigate political risk. This includes developing alternative supply chains, adjusting marketing strategies, and implementing security measures to protect employees and assets. And next is identifying politically vulnerable products. Identifying politically vulnerable products. So, it is important for companies to manage political risks in global marketing. Politically vulnerable products are those that are likely to be impacted by political events or government policies, which can have significant negative effects on the company's operations, profitability, and brand reputation. So, here are the examples of politically vulnerable products. So number one is tobacco. Number two is firearms. Number three is fossil fuels. Number four is fast food and sugary products. And number five is pharmaceuticals. So ito pong mga products na ito ay kailangan alam po natin yung laws, yung mga batas nila. Okay, pagdating dun sa mga papasukin natin na mga bansa. Okay? Kasi they are vulnerable products. May mga countries na bawal to. Okay? So hindi mo siya pwedeng ibenta. Kaya kailangan alam natin kung ano yung mga politically vulnerable products. And next is, we will discuss cooperation versus protectionism. Cooperation versus protectionism. So, cooperation refers to a collaborative approach to international trade and economic relations where countries work together to promote free trade and mutual benefits. Okay, so they are promoting free trade and mutual benefits. So this approach emphasizes the importance of open markets. Importance of open markets, free movement of goods and services, and the elimination of trade barriers. So there is no trade barriers. So mas open itong cooperation. Next is protectionism. Protectionism refers to the use of policies and measures aimed at protecting domestic industries and restricting imports. So makita natin dito, they are protecting domestic industries, their locals, and restricting imports. So hindi pinagbabawalan nila yung mag-import. Kasi alam naman natin na kapag mas maraming nag-import, so yung mga locals nila ay matatalo yung mga products nila. Kasi kapag mas maraming import, ay yung price nito ay mas mababa. So this approach emphasizes the importance of protecting domestic jobs and industries, often through the imposition of tariffs, quotas, and other trade barriers. It can also involve government subsidies to domestic industries to help them compete against foreign imports. Next is patents and trademarks. Patents and trademarks. So both important legal tools that companies can use to protect their intellectual property in the global market. So what is patent? Patent is a legal document that gives the holder exclusive rights to manufacture, use, and sell an invention for a certain period of time, typically 20 years. They are used to protect new and useful inventions such as products, processes, and machines, and give the holder the right to prevent others from making, using, or selling the invention without their permission. So the examples here are the airplane of Wright brothers. Next is the light bulb of Thomas Edison. And the next is the slide to unlock of the iPhone. Okay, so there is patent there. Next is trademark. So when we say trademark, it is a symbol, word, phrase, or design that identifies and distinguishes a company's products or services from those of its competitors. It is used to protect the brand identity of a company and give the holder the exclusive right to use the trademark in connection with the sale of their products or services. So the examples here are the Nike, the Puma. Okay. So there are may mga nakalagay dito, imbis na Puma ay pusa yung ano, di ba? Pusa yung nakalagay. Okay, so here is the Starbucks coffee. Okay, so medyo ginaya siya, ginawang Starbucks, di ba? Starbucks salon. Okay. And next is bribery. So what is bribery? Bribery is the act of offering or accepting something of value in exchange for an advantage. It is illegal in many countries. So example here is paying a bribe to win a contract, securing permits, or influencing a government officials. So nagsusuhol ka para nagbibigay ka ng pera, okay, to win a contract. Okay, so kung halimbawa meron kang kailangan or gusto mong makuha, ay ikaw ay nagbabribe, nagbibigay ka ng usually a big amount of money para makuha mo yung contract. Okay, so country where bribes are common, so there are countries where bribes are common. So number 1 is Cambodia, 69.4%. Number 2 is Yemen, 64.3%. Number 3 is Kyrgyzstan, 59.8%. Number 4 is Dr. Congo, DR Congo, 56.5%. Number 5 is Ukraine, 50.4%. So the Philippines is 24th out of 50 in Asian region and 114th out of 184 countries. Next is corruption. So when we say corruption, it refers to the abuse of power for personal gain. It can take many forms such as embezzlement, kickbacks, nepotism, and money laundering. So, Philippines is ranked as 116. Okay, so yung pong Pilipinas ay rank tayo. Medyo corrupt po yung ating country. 116 po tayo. And next is expropriation. When we say expropriation, it occurs when a government seizes a company's assets without compensation. So the government taking over any property that is privately owned with or without the permission of the owners. So it can happen for various reasons such as nationalization, public interest, or political instability. So here we see that in going global, companies should conduct a thorough analysis of the costs and benefits of going global and develop a comprehensive strategy to mitigate the risks and leverage the opportunities in the target markets. So that's all. Thank you for your listening. So I am Louis Marcasor. God bless you all.